Kathy San Marcos, the Director of Operations here at the REeBroker Group, and we just want to welcome you all to the Realtor Training Opportunity for February of 2023. And Yeva's going to go ahead and proceed with the slides. We do ask that you put all of your questions in the chat, and they'll be addressed at the end of the webinar. And we do have a guest speaker with us, Mark Brooks. He'll speak at the end. So let's go ahead and next to the agenda, and we'll.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that Stephen asked a good question. This is scheduled for 1 hour, but our webinar usually is only 30 minutes. We just wanted to extend it in case we went over. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Okay, so here's what we're going to discuss today is how to avoid delays in escrow, listing compliance, handling unhappy clients. We do have some changes to our fee schedule that some of you'll be pleasantly surprised with, and then our guest speaker. So next. Okay, so first off, avoiding escrow delays. So what causes escrow delays is failing to return calls in a timely manner, not providing vesting information at opening, missing signatures, notarized grant deeds or grant deeds not being provided, lack of communication between agents, escrow, and contract parties. So next. Okay, some other common hurdles are buyers are missing additional funds to close. Personal check is brought to closing. If they are, it's best to do the wire, work with title, escrow to make sure they're following those guidelines. Both spouses are not present at the closing. An escrow officer is not aware of a marriage, divorce, separation, sole or separate property, death of a joint client, etc., resulting in documents needing to be revised. It wasn't long ago that I had an escrow officer reach out to me, and she didn't realize that one of our agent's clients had the same name as the deceased father. So if there's any special circumstances, make sure that escrow and title are aware of those. Okay, so incorrect loan papers, judgments that arise during escrow. Buyers don't have the correct forms of ID or notary, or they're outdated. Buyers make major credit purchases. And in regards to sellers, there could be demands on the current loan are not provided to escrow. Releases are not in escrow. Judgments arise during escrow. Failure to disclose HOA. Sellers don't have correct forms of ID for notary. Okay, next. And then in regards to fire insurance, the policy is not ordered in enough time. The lender instructions are required in order for the escrow policy, in order for escrow to order the policy. Some escrow officers will require the buyer to purchase the fire insurance. So you just want to do your research, make sure you know who's to order that. Okay, the policy information is incorrect or not adequate, or the buyer is using an insurance agent that's out of state or out of town, and they're not familiar with the area and what may be needed. So in regards to pest control, the inspection report, maybe the report may not be provided, or the clearance was not provided to escrow, or it was not completed. So incorrect information on the report, inspection or clearance, the lender won't accept it, or there's certain areas that were not checked but cleared on the report. So in regards to lenders, if you're using an we understand that some of the online lenders may not be familiar with property here in California. So if they're not, they need to be educated way in advance. So if it's a PUD, whatever is unique to that property. In addition, points or interest rates may increase and parties are not notified. There's miscellaneous charges made without disclosure, or lenders call for additional conditions. So next. Okay, what you as an agent can do to prevent some of these hurdles is to have the property profile available when opening escrow. Actually, I would do it as soon as you're taking a listing, you're taking you're writing a purchase agreement. As soon as either one of those are happening, pull that property profile, check it out, make sure, you know, whoever's on title is the person that is selling the home. They have the right to sell the home. You've as a listing agent, you could ask for the additional documentation of who is the actual signer, if it is an entity or a trust, because, you know, we've had it here within the company that we're like, they find out later on that they've signed an listing agreement, and the listing agreement is not valid because whoever signed it doesn't have the authority to sign it. So do your due diligence in that area. You want to provide lender information at opening or as soon as it's available, and have the purchase contracts and counters available so that all terms are precise, and know the cooperative agent's phone number and verify the information is needed. You want to return all escrow documents back as soon as possible. The CAR contract also states exactly when the time frame is that you have to return all of those. And, you know, once those escrow documents are returned, then there's also the notary needs to be scheduled with escrow title. Then you want to ensure the statement of information, the SI, is returned as soon as possible. And you want to complete all paperwork thoroughly, checking for signatures, initials, missing for information, etc. That's, you know, we have our TC department, and it's interesting because we'll have people submit an offer, but it won't be a complete offer because there's an initial or a signature missing, and it can take days in order to get that. So you think you've got a signed contract. Technically you don't until all of those areas are completed. So make sure before you're submitting it to escrow, title, or the brokerage that you've gone through all of your documentation to make sure that it's complete. Look at names, make sure that your buyers and sellers didn't miss any areas. It prevents a lot of delay if you can do that. So then the loan information for the seller and insurance information for the buyer is often missing on the escrow documents. When loan approval is provided with escrow, make sure they've received the news and follow-up information. And you want to give the escrow escrow officer the insurance agent's information. Next. Okay, so here we want to talk about listing compliance. So we want to remind you that before putting the listing on an MLS, it must be reported to the broker by creating a file and uploading the signed listing agreement. So we've seen where some agents, they get excited, they're going to take a listing, they go in and put it in the MLS, they create a file for us, and then they think they're going to go trying to get ahead of the game, but then for some reason the listing doesn't get signed. You can't start an MLS listing, nor can you start a file with us until you have a signed agreement. And you want to make sure there's a start and end date on that signed agreement, because without the start end date and a signed listing, it's a DRE violation to list somebody's property. It's like trying to sell your neighbor's property without a signed agreement. Okay. Then when the listing is live, it must be uploaded to our system. Okay. Next. Okay, Sarah, take it away. Oh, can't hear
I'm
you.
muted.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about handling unhappy clients and kind of what we can do as agents to not put ourselves in that position. So here you could see all of this information is in a document in our document library called Dealing with Difficult Clients. So feel free to reference that if needed, or watch the webinar. So there's lots of different kinds of difficult clients that you may find yourself in a transaction with, whether it be your client or clients on the other side. You'll find know-it-alls, negative Nancy's, people pleasers, people who don't do anything, people who rant and rave, and those who are really aggressive. So each of these kind of clients come with their own hurdles that you're going to have to encounter. Those who know it all may think that they're the experts. Those who are negative about everything, inspections and what's available in the market, things like that. People pleasers tend to kind of be a little bit more on the soft-spoken side. They just want to move forward with the transaction and kind of go with the flow. However, they might be more difficult to get the needed documents from. Those who do nothing, kind of self-explanatory. Those who rant and rave, those who are very outspoken, they're either really happy or not happy and they will let you know. And those who are really aggressive. So kind of, we're going to go through about 4 different points on kind of how we can handle these kinds of situations. Number 1 is to pre-screen for difficult clients. So you're going to want to interview and meet up with potential clients before signing on to work with them. It's a great way to verify their wants, their needs, their motivations, and what kind of client they're going to be for you. Leads and prospects with unrealistic expectation, those who are not really serious about wanting to buy or sell, and those who expect 100% undivided attention. Next. So why do we want to pre-screen? We want to pre-screen our clients because by pre-screening clients, you're going to make sure that your personalities are well matched. It will prevent uncomfortable situations later in the process. And then it will also prevent clients from being unsatisfied with your efforts. And then at this stage, you can also evaluate whether or not you are going to be good matches with them. You want to make sure that just as they're good clients for you, that you're a good agent for them. Not everybody is made to work together. So you could always just refer them out to a different client that you think that might have more time. If they're going to be really demanding, if they want to see 50 properties in the span of a month and you have 5 other deals going, it might be better to let that client know that you don't have the time and to make sure that they're satisfied with this process, and then maybe refer them to another agent that that might have a little bit more time. Next. All right, number 2, educate them early. So some real estate clients are demanding or negative simply because they don't understand the industry. So first-time buyers and sellers, especially those who don't know the process, you want to explain to them how the current housing market is. You want to use simple terms and kind of explain at what stage what's going to be happening. What's the inspections? What are contingencies? Kind of what the stages will look like through the process. You want to educate them so that they know what's coming up and what to expect. Many buyers and sellers also look up data on different websites. They want to make sure that they're secure and confident in their decisions. But you as a real estate expert will want to take the information that they're going to bring to you that they've researched and be able to explain it and translate it and give them insights on how to apply what they found to the current market. So education is very important to ensuring satisfied clients. Next. All right, so number 3, very important, be prepared for emotions. We are all human, and the buying and selling of real estate is an emotional process, especially for first timers. You're looking for that perfect house for you, or you and your spouse, or you and your family, in the right neighborhood, in the right school district. And so there's a lot of emotions there. And on the seller side, you may have lived in those clients may have lived in that house for 10, 20 years and feel very attached. And so you are going to want to stay calm and professional, avoid arguing with them, especially if, tempers get high. Listen to them, acknowledge their feelings and the problems that they're bringing to the table, offer any fixes that you might see, and then identify the reason behind the client's behaviors. It may not even have anything to do with the transaction. It might be something in their personal lives that they're bringing into the transaction. So you're going to want to kind of read the room, essentially, and kind of maneuver those emotions with the best empathy that you can. Okay, next. And number 4, so you're going to want to stay calm and decisive. So while empathy is really great, a really great real estate agent will need to set boundaries. So you're the professional in the real estate transaction. So make sure that your clients or your potential clients understand what services you're going to provide and what services that you will not provide. Some things to set up and include probably in that pre-screening process are like your preferred method of communication and their preferred method of communication. Maybe you guys are both texters. Maybe you're a texter and they're a caller, and you want to make sure that whatever it is, that you're going to be able to mesh well with that, your availability and their availability. So you're going to want to make sure that those coincide. Preferred reports, feedback, and previewing of homes. Kind of set the expectation up front, whether you have a process of kind of how you like, do you like to send out 3 or 4 different homes to your potential buyers, have them review the MLS reports, kind of look at if this is something that they want to review. Maybe the clients want to see every house that there is to see. So you're going to want to make sure that you're setting the boundaries of what you are wanting and listening to what they also want. Kind of let them know up front the necessary documents that you're going to need to move forward. Whether or not if you're a buyer's agent, do you want that pre-qualification for the loan and all of these things up front so that you can present them to potential listing agents. So you'll want to set that expectation up front as well. And then, like I said, services that you provide, you really want to make sure that you're setting those boundaries up front. This is what you will and will not do. As real estate agents, we want to make sure that the clients know kind of where you stand in terms of like they're responsible for setting up and paying for the inspections, you're not. And all of these things. So you'll want to make sure that the clients know that what their obligations are in the transaction and what your services will be. Next. All right. And so if you do happen to come across an unhappy client and they're threatening some kind of legal actions or mediation, arbitration, you will want to notify the broker's office as soon as possible. We want to make sure that we're aware of any kind of situation that's happening, whether it's before close of escrow or after close of escrow. That way we can hopefully step in if necessary and de-escalate the situation, or kind of maybe be a third party and talk to them about what it is that they are expecting or needing. If there are legal questions that you have during a transaction and it's before close of escrow, the broker's office isn't authorized to provide any legal assistance. So we will always direct you to call Car Legal for advice. And as soon as situations arise, if you need legal advice, you want to be the first one to call Car Legal, because the first agent in the transaction to call will get the advice. Otherwise, they believe it's a conflict of interest and they won't talk to the other party. So next. All right. So in our document library, we also have this document about potential legal issues. And this document will include information on the Car Legal advice hotline, information about contingencies, EMD disputes, mediation, and arbitration. So you'll want to review that. And if you have any questions, you can always contact us. Next.
Very good. Thank you, Sarah. All right. So next, we wanted to introduce that the REeBroker group has a new fee schedule. It won't change the standard flat, so those of you that have been with the company for a long time, the flat broker fee plan, that doesn't change in any way. So the first standard transactions, we did reduce our high risk fees and our loan origination fees. So you're going to want to check out the fee schedule. Those fees will apply to any of the new transactions that you're starting here forward. And we also kept the capped broker fee plan. So those of you that don't know, that's available as well. And so if you're on the flat broker fee plan right now, or if you're on the cap broker fee plan right now, there's nothing you need to do. It's just, we kept both, and we've actually improved it. So just remember that, when you're waiving commission, you're not eligible to waive the broker fees. So whatever the broker fee is for that specific transaction, plus $1,000, that's considered the minimum commission amount that has to be allocated in escrow. And if for some reason you were unavailable to finish the transaction, we would apply the $1,000 towards, TC or whatever time it takes for the company to finish the transaction on your behalf. So it's not that we keep that $1,000 on, standard transactions where just the minimum commission is allocated. It's just a little buffer in case there's a situation. But in general, if you have any questions, but the fee schedule is really easy to understand now. We simplified it. So, all right, next.